I knew this lady the other day. She ran over her cat with the lawnmower, but luckily it only severed its tail, and so the cat was still alive. So she freaked out, of course. She turned off the lawnmower. She flipped it over. She got the tail. She grabbed the cat, and she went to Walmart. Do you know why?
Why?
They're the #1 retailer in the country.
Nice.
Thanks, man.
And that will segue us into the topic of the day, which is movies you thought were funny as a kid, but aren't anymore.
Oh my gosh,
So
I've got one right now.
Don't wait on me.
Are you Master of Disguise?
Oh my gosh. Hold on, I'm gonna get Caitlin. I'm gonna call her on the phone right now because she loves that movie, and
she loves it,
dude. She ironically, you know what I'm saying? But
right.
I'm suspicious.
I loved
it. She loved it as a kid.
I watched it and I was like, this is the funniest movie of all time. So quotable, everything. And then I rewatched it in my more mature years, and I was like,
dude, I didn't see that movie till I was 21, and I hate it. It's so bad.
It's so bad.
I'm gonna bring Caitlin in here though because.
You know what? While you're on the phone,
yeah,
I kind of feel the same way about Austin Powers.
Ooh, hot take! I haven't seen them.
Know.
Hey, we are in the middle of recording a podcast, and we're talking about Master of Disguise, so you should come in here. Oh, you don't have to get up. I'll just put you on speaker. Here, you're on the podcast.
What?
You're on the podcast.
Welcome, Caitlin. Thanks for joining us today by phone.
Oh, cool.
What do you think about Master of Disguise?
Best movie ever created, hands down.
What do you love about it?
Defend that.
I love the Who's Your Mama scene. I love the not turtle-y enough for the Turtle Club scene. That's good. I like the Who's Your Daddy part. That's fun.
You
All
just said
around.
That.
I said that already?
Yeah.
I like how the bad guy farts all the time. That's great too.
Uh-huh.
Anyway.
Well,
that's my input right there.
So if you had to give it a ranking, if 1 was the best movie you've ever seen and 100 is the worst, what would you give Master of Disguise?
I would probably give it, I don't know, I'd probably give it like a 42.
Oh my God.
Wow, that's high.
That's just what I gave Barbie.
Okay. That's funny. All right. Well, thank you for contributing.
Kind of.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
So that idiot. No, so I will say the not turtly enough for the Turtle Club line.
Am I not turtly enough for your Turtle Club?
Yeah, that's a pretty solid delivery. Dana Carvey.
Four kids go into the water. 2 kids come out. The rest, the ice cream man, he take them.
It's such a bad movie.
Nothing makes sense.
It's
just,
terrible.
People defend Dana Carvey. They say he's the funniest guy alive, and I agree to a threshold. There's a certain point where you push past it, much like Jim Carrey. He's hilarious, but then he steps over that boundary to where it's no longer funny, it's just theater kid insane.
Yeah, theater kid insanity. This would be one of those movies that's on the outskirts of SNL movies.
Would it?
It's Dana Carvey. Yeah. And I agree. Dana Carvey. Okay, I will say this though. Did you ever watch the Dana Carvey show?
No.
Legitimately had some really funny sketches.
Yeah. It was just sketch comedy,
yes, right? It was like lock off SNL.
Do you ever watch Mr. Show?
No, but I think I've seen an episode
with Bob Odenkirk and
and Tobias.
What's his name?
I'm blanking. I'm blanking so hard.
Holy cow!
It's Tobias. It's the bad guy from Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Gosh. It's on the tip of my tongue.
So that's where Jack Black got his debut into acting.
Bill Cross.
Not
Bill Cross. David Cross.
David Cross.
Bill Cross is a person I know in real life.
Oh. Hey, shout out to Bill.
Shout out to Bill.
Seif loves that show. Seif doesn't watch this podcast, so it's okay. Do you watch the podcast?
I know David Cross, too, in real life.
You know David Cross in real life?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I do, too.
I met him.
You met David Cross?
No, but I kind of did.
How do you kind of meet somebody?
I meet somebody who knows him
That doesn't
and falls
count.
in the same category.
My ex-girlfriend met what's his name? Not David Bowie. Kevin Bacon.
This is different. So my Kevin Bacon number is 2.
Yeah, mine's 1.
Or I guess yours is 2 and mine's 3. Is
Would it be
Kevin
zero?
Bacon's
It'd be
number 0
zero.
or 1? Oh, it's
If you
0.
met Kevin Bacon-
If you know him, it's 0.
If you met him,
Then it's 0.
then it's 0.
Right.
You have nobody in between.
No, I met Patton Oswalt.
Patton Oswalt seems like a really cool guy to meet.
Yeah, I met him like the week after his wife died. And
That's-
she died suddenly.
Probably the worst time to meet him.
He was with his son or daughter, whatever their kid. There's a little kid.
Yeah.
And it was at the Weird Al concert. Because
Oh.
him and Weird Al are good friends. And that was when I won those tickets to go meet Weird Al. And I was like in the VIP section. And I was just like walking to the bathroom. And Patton Oswalt's there with his kid talking to the usher. It's like, hey, where are our seats? Somebody was in our seats. And I almost ran into him. And then I was like, well, I had to do a double take. And I was about to be like, hey, it's nice to meet you. Also, I'm way taller than him. And I was about to be like, hey, it's nice to meet you. And then I remembered that I saw on the news his wife literally just died.
Good on you.
So I did not say anything.
Good on you. Because I hate those videos that you see. And you know celebrities deal with this all the time.
Yeah.
But I hate those videos. Like, what's the guy? Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Was at a coffee shop. And one guy was like filming him. He put his phone in his shirt pocket. He's like, hey, man, super great to see you. Can I get an autograph? And Ryan Reynolds is like, hey, man, like, I just left my house to go get coffee. Like, I'd really just like to grab a coffee and go. Like, you know, thanks. He was being super nice. Ryan Reynolds was. He's like, thanks for being a fan. I appreciate it, but I'm really just trying to. And he was like, okay, no, I'll go wait for you outside. He's like, dude, no, just let me get my coffee. I'm gonna go. And like, I can't imagine doing that on the daily. Being one of the most famous people on planet Earth.
And just having to like live. Yeah.
I totally understand why Hayden Christensen left the city and bought like hundreds of acres and became a cattle farmer.
I love that guy. You know, I also understand why Tobey Maguire is the way he is. I love those videos of him screaming at paparazzi.
Oh, I would
love it.
I would open carry a machine gun if I was an A-list celebrity.
Yeah.
If I'm not on set, I have a machine gun on my chest.
Or if you're Alec Baldwin while you are on set. I'm sorry.
Too soon?
I'm sorry, too soon. He wasn't a machine gun. Anyway, that's how Bruce Lee's son died too.
Paparazzi?
No, getting shot on set.
Why are people getting shot on set?
Was it Bruce Lee or Jackie Chan? It was Bruce Lee.
Jackie Chan is still alive.
Yes. No, it's his son is what I'm saying. His
Jackie
son.
Chan has a son he's proud of. He has a daughter he's not proud of.
Why do you know so much about Jackie Chan?
He disowned his daughter.
Why?
She came out as gay, had a girlfriend. And so he, being the traditional...
I didn't know Jackie Chan was based. What?
Dude, like hardcore.
I didn't know that.
Like doesn't have... He's like, if they ask about his daughter, he's like, I don't have a daughter.
What?
Yeah. Like,
how is he not canceled and like career based?
Kind of isn't from America, so they're like, they don't hold him to the same standards.
We're going to Google it and he's going to be from like Orange County,
You right.
California. Yeah.
No, he came over here doing, Eddie Murphy.
Why
and
do you... No, that's Coming to America.
Coming to America, yeah.
Oh, wait, what?
That was like some of his first American films that he did.
So he literally came to America for Coming to America?
Kind because he was like, English is such a hard language in that movie. Like he couldn't speak much. He couldn't speak English.
Why do you know so much about Jackie Chan?
I don't know. That's all.
It's awesome.
He's an interesting guy.
That's funny.
Well, people in China consider him to be the Charlie Sheen of China.
What does that mean?
You know how you feel about Charlie Sheen as an American?
Yeah?
That's how they feel about him in China.
That's really funny. My feelings about Charlie Sheen are specific, but like I couldn't put them into words.
So didn't he? He's not like a Howard Stern. Like he didn't used to be a radio host, did he?
Charlie Sheen?
Yeah.
No, he's just an actor, famous actor, dad.
But like cocaine.
Like cocaine.
Really
yeah,
bad.
Sitcom, cocaine.
2.5 Men. My mom would never let me watch that, and to this day, I haven't watched it. Just
not
because
because it's inappropriate, just because of how bad it is. No, I'm just kidding.
No, it feels like a no-no show, you know?
Yeah.
I haven't
one of
watched
those as a
that.
kid. It's like Family Guy. It's off limits.
Off limits.
And then you grow up and you're like, oh, it's actually just not that funny.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
There's like 4 seconds in every like month of footage.
It's actually funny. Yeah.
The same thing with Titanic. I always fast forward during the
hot car scene.
Yep.
Where
As soon as I know that scene's coming, I'm like, I gotta push the
you
fast
have
forward
to honor
button
your
twice.
parents. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. That's good.
I still haven't seen it. I heard it's great.
There's also I guess Titanic also has the French girl scene.
Yeah, that's the one. The hot car scene. I just assumed they were. I don't know. Sleeping?
I don't know
poor,
because
right?
anytime I watch Titanic, I fast forward the first hour and get to the good part, which
Where
is
they
where
die.
they die. That movie, the second half is awesome. The first half, I don't care.
I remember you talking about this.
I literally
What
do
a
not
hot
care.
take! Because it's
They're gonna die anyway.
it's all artistic liberty and then facts.
Yeah, I like the fact part.
That
I
where
don't care about
the boat hits the iceberg and they all die.
From that point on, I know everything I'm seeing is real.
This is how it happened.
Before that, it's just romantic jumbo mumbo.
No, I hate the end of that movie where they were like, yeah, we would love to find this artifact, this diamond.
She just chucks it in
and
the
she
ocean.
drops
like,
it in
lady,
the
you're about
ocean.
to drop dead anyway. Just give it to him.
Give it to your granddaughter.
Give it to somebody. There's
Write
no
it in your.
reason.
Go adjust your trust really quick. You obviously have the
only
money.
reason it would make sense for her to do what she did is if she knew that the audience was watching her and it would be a cool movie moment.
Right.
In real life, there is absolutely no justification for
And
that.
I heard it was justified where she's like, I'm giving it back to Jack. But, dude, screw Jack. He was some poor boat kid that didn't really deserve anything. Why do people like him so much?
Because he's Leonardo DiCaprio.
I guess.
If he was cast any differently, people would hate him as a character.
He did not develop, like, nothing about him was compelling other than he was cute and, like.
He was this is how girls feel about, like, the manic pixie dream girl characters in movies. You know what I'm talking about? Like, where, like, the girl characters that only exist for a guy to be in love with her.
Yeah.
This is the equivalent of how they feel.
I will simp.
No character development.
Super hard for Harley Quinn. Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn. Are you kidding
Well,
me?
if Margot Robbie, yeah, sure.
Oh my gosh.
I don't care about Harley Quinn.
Well, no, yeah. But like
That's
specifically
again,
that like
the casting makes all the difference.
crazy blonde character.
Sure.
Something about that. There's
That's-
something about well, you know
That's
me though.
Jack
There's
from
something
Titanic.
There's something about me and crazy women.
Yeah, not blondes really though.
Never a blonde.
Anyway, you're like kind of the ultimate blonde. Like I can't even see your hair.
Yeah, it's opaque.
So you mean transparent?
Nope. I know what I said.
Okay. So, anyway, yeah, Master Disguise sucks.
Oh my
But
gosh.
there's another movie that I thought was great as a kid that sucks so bad.
Okay.
Just terrible. And I really want to rewatch it because I've only rewatched it in part. I've never fully sat down and rewatched the whole thing. And tell me if you remember this.
Okay.
Put your brain back in its early 2000s mode.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm
you're
riding
seeing
scooters.
You're
lot
riding
of scooters.
Yep, and you're going to the movie theater, and you're
Oh,
sitting
yeah.
in
That's
the
when I
green-
actually had to go to see movies.
when it still had the arcade in there.
Oh
And-
yeah.
Yeah, you get some butter on your popcorn.
I was never allowed to get butter on my popcorn
Why?
because my mom was like, "It'll kill you." And I'm still alive.
And you're still alive. Look
So-
where it got you. So you're right. Yeah,
I put butter
she
on my
was
popcorn.
right. Shout
now,
out
though.
Carrie. Okay, you put what? Did you put the powder on?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you just
salted that
cheddared
sucker.
and salted up your popcorn and
Jalapeno, right?
jalapeno. Okay, yeah. And you head into the theater with your dad or whoever, and you sit down. And before Bridge to Terabithia comes on, there's a trailer. Actually, this would have been even before Bridge to Terabithia. So before Shrek 2 comes on,
Okay.
there's a trailer for a little movie called Kangaroo Jack.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, do you remember Kangaroo Jack?
I never saw it.
Okay, it sucks.
I can
It's
imagine.
bad.
It's like
And-
what, an Australian
Now, this is what's crazy.
detective kangaroo?
This is what's crazy. Okay, that movie,
Yeah.
the story behind that reason that movie exists is absolutely wild. It's crazy. It's more interesting than the movie itself.
The story of why it was created.
Yes. Let me look. I'm going to read you this.
This
Okay.
this
I'm just going to
chair-
straight up read this. First of all, it's got an 8% on Rotten Tomatoes. Okay.
The higher the percent, the better, right?
Supposedly.
Okay,
Yes. That's the percentage of critics that gave it a good review.
Oh,
Or even an okay review. That's the percentage of critics that liked it at all. Is
Okay.
8%.
wow.
So 92% of critics just disliked it or hated
Didn't
it.
like it.
So, Kangaroo Jack, it's got the talking kangaroo with the hoodie on the cover and the
Yeah,
sunglasses.
I can see that
And
vividly.
he's jumping around in the trailers. It was released in 2003, so this is pre-Shrek 2.
Okay.
I don't even know what would be out. Daredevil. Okay, you're watching Daredevil, and there's a trailer with Ben Affleck, and there's a trailer for this. Okay, so here, let me read you Wikipedia. The film received negative reviews from critics who criticized the screenplay, humor, violence, innuendos, especially for a family film, and criticized its false advertising. Now, This is crazy. Okay.
Okay.
So
False.
there was a movie that began filming in Australia in 2001. Okay.
Okay.
Made by David what's his name, who made this movie.
Sure.
Okay. It was called Down and Under. Like a play on Down Under.
Right.
And it was a mafia crime movie.
Okay.
Like Midnight Run style. Full of sex and violence and cursing.
Good.
All that.
Sure.
It was just a mafia movie that takes place in Australia. Okay? They shot it and they edited together a cut and they showed it to the producers. That's how it works. You know, you make the first cut, you show it to the producers, and they tell you what to change, that kind of thing. Right?
Sure.
The producers hated it. They didn't like the whole movie. But
how'd they make it if the producers weren't funding it?
well, they funded it, but then like it's one of those things where they're just like, this isn't working. We're going to change some things. We want to change everything. Yeah. Well, in the test screenings, because movies, they do test screenings. They show it to small audiences and see how they react. There's one scene in the movie with the kangaroo scene with I don't even remember what happens in the movie. They like almost run over a kangaroo, or they get attacked by a kangaroo, or something weird happens with a kangaroo.
Okay.
Tiny little scene, has nothing to do with the movie toward the beginning. Well, in the test screenings, the audiences reacted positively to that part. Like they thought it was funny or cool or whatever. So the producers took that and they said, make that the movie.
The kangaroo.
Just the kangaroo part toward the beginning, make that the movie. So all the filmmakers go back and have to redo the whole. So, and then they were influenced by that, and then also the fact that Snow Dogs had just come out and people liked it.
No, they didn't.
Well,
did they?
I don't know.
Snow Buddies?
Snow Dogs. This one, yeah. You know what I'm talking about with all the dogs.
Oh, is that where the guy like drowned at the beginning of the movie?
I don't remember.
Super tragic, traumatizing story to watch.
And so they said,
fourth grader.
So the producers told the crew and the director, they said, hey, take this dark mafia, violent, cursing, like dark, like movie.
Sure.
And make it a family friendly comedy about a kangaroo. Or involving a kangaroo.
Right.
And so they went back and they shot a whole bunch of new footage because originally the kangaroo scene, it was just an animatronic kangaroo. It wasn't it was just a kangaroo.
It's just a kangaroo.
And they replaced that the way that, I'm just going to read directly from the article. Okay. This is so funny. Extensive new footage was shot that replaced the animatronic kangaroo with a new CGI one that rapped. Yeah,
okay.
he raps.
I remember it now because he
raps. He'd rap
like pump faking the camera or whatever, like they did in the early 2000s R&B videos.
Yeah, and so then that's what the movie they made. They cut out all the bad stuff and just tried to make it into something that made sense.
Did it make sense?
I don't remember. I haven't seen it since I was like 8.
But you don't. Oh, that's not fair. You got to watch it again.
I know. I said I want to. I need to. Okay. But I've seen bits and pieces. Again. Yeah. Anyway, I wanted to bring that up because we've never talked about Kangaroo Jack, and I just had to get it off my chest.
No, I'm glad you did. That's a fascinating story. Yeah. I did not know the history behind it.
I want to see the original cut of Down and Under. I want to see the Mafia movie, the Australian Mafia movie.
So, I have another movie.
Okay.
That's kind of the opposite. I know that's not the topic.
That's okay. Movie you hated as a kid that you love now?
I don't love it.
Okay.
I do have a song that is frequently like recirculates in my head. Like it lives in my hippocampus, and then it'll shoot back from my long term back into my cognitive memory. Okay. It is the Barbie movie. But
you're talking about the one we just reviewed?
No. Like
you're talking about
old.
I'm just like you.
I'm just like you.
You're just like me.
You're just like me.
With someone anyone can see.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. That circulates through my head so often.
That's the Princess and the Pauper.
Princess and the Pauper.
That was that one. But there's also Barbie Swan Lake.
What was the one where she had like the secret world, where she would like
Barbie
dance?
Fairytopia?
And it would like open up a secret chamber, and she would like walk into it, and she would get like wings, and she had little friends there.
I think it was Fairytopia.
So this was me growing up with three sisters. Right?
Oh, me too. I had the two little sisters. We had our sisters were like similar ages.
Right.
Mine were a little older, but
occasionally this movie would be on. And can we change this? And your mom's like, absolutely not. Shut up.
Yeah,
like,
this is the only thing that keeps them quiet. We're watching Princess and the Pauper. No,
yeah.
but the songs in those movies were actually bops.
They were actually not bad at all.
Yeah.
Now, if I went back and watched them today, I'd be like, this story is bland.
Well, yeah, they're all retellings of like other stuff.
Or just like a Tuesday. Have you ever watched those old kid shows? It's like, hey, we're gonna go get donuts. A mild inconvenience. Mm-hmm. We overcame that, and we got donuts. Yay!
Yeah, there was a range of kid shows. So if you're talking like, I mean, even like those Barbie movies were like straight to DVD.
Right.
It's weird that every girl in the 2000s watched those because they weren't widely released. They were just DVD movies.
Strawberry Shortcake?
Yeah.
Strawberry Shortcake was like that. They released the doll, and then they like wouldn't get the sales they wanted at Walmart. And like, all right, let's make a dumb movie.
Yeah.
And then all of
My
a sudden,
sisters loved it. They sang the theme song.
What was the theme song to Strawberry Shortcake?
So I'm trying to remember because my brain gets mixed up. My brain wants to think Strawberry Shortcake. Strawberry Shortcake. That's My Little Pony.
That's My Little Pony.
Yeah,
I never watched that one.
But
thankfully,
a lot of guys your age did.
Let's say, I wonder if I would have been one of them.
But the Strawberry Shortcake, Strawberry Shortcake.
You know, there's only a finite things between like mildly appropriately enjoying to your brain going over a threshold to where like that's a problem with you now, man. Yep.
Oh, that Chocolate River looks so good.
Copyright.
Yeah, I think if I play any more, I think this episode is going to get flagged. So I'm going to just leave that how it is. I don't know what record label has the rights to that, but I don't want them on my back. So,
that took me back.
No, I know. I wanted to hear maybe I can wait like 5 minutes and then play the rest because I don't know. But
my brain just keeps going with the stuff that I remember fondly and haven't watched again. Wizards of Waverly Place is up there.
So we're talking about TV shows now, I guess.
Yeah, okay.
Sure. But
speaking of Wizards of Waverly Place, you know what I've been watching that I really enjoy?
Another Selena Gomez TV show starring Martin Short and Steve Martin.
It is. How'd you know?
I don't know. I've also seen
Season 1
of
Only Murders in the Building.
I've seen Season 1 and 3 episodes of Season 2. Me and my wife and my parents watched Season 1 and we loved it.
You only watched the first season? The
Yes.
second season is a little dry, but they keep it fun. And they keep it good. And they keep it interesting.
It's well made. It's interesting. It's a good show.
They keep making seasons, and you're like, all right. I have to suspend my disbelief.
Yeah, because the premise only lends itself to like one season.
But they do it so... They're so...
Yeah.
They acknowledge themselves.
No, it's
good. They don't insist upon themselves.
There you go. They're unpretentious.
Yeah. And they're fun, and they're having a good time, and their ratings are up, so why is Hulu not going to make any more?
Oh, did they cancel it?
No.
Oh, I get you. They
keep going. Just like Futurama. You've seen all the recent episodes of Did you see episode 3?
No, it came out?
Yeah.
I need to watch it then.
It's clever. All of them.
Futurama, see, the only thing that makes me sad about the fact that it got renewed again is that the ending was so good.
It was so
But
good.
also the first 3 endings were so good. You know what I'm saying?
They're going to end it good again.
Yeah, they've ended it good 4 times now, and every ending was like sentimental and warmed your heart.
Maybe they won't.
Because the first ending...
Maybe they'll all die this time.
Maybe, that'd be great. The first ending was the episode, it was like after season 4? How many seasons did it run originally? 4?
I'm not sure.
It was the one where Leela... where Fry learns that new instrument,
the
clarinet, and then she sits there alone and watches his concert, and it's like a love story, and then that's how the show ended.
Right,
it's beautiful.
And
like,
then you learn to play it for me or something like that. Yeah.
Every time it ends, it's great. But the last one was really great,
where they pause time, and then
yeah.
Farnsworth is like, "We found a way."
And then because he says, "You want to do it again," and so it's like you can go back and watch the show again, and it's like you're going with them. It's great. It works out. So I'm sad that that's not a thing anymore. But then I also love how they don't even dwell on like the first new episode. They come back and it's like 45 seconds. They're just like, "Oh, look, we're back." Okay. And they move on. They're
immediately into their new
immediately
shenanigans.
unsentimental about it. I love it.
Yeah. Well, because Joe DiMaggio wasn't supposed to originally be in it, right?
Well, that's because he's been dead for a long time. I think you're thinking of John DiMaggio,
Oh,
the
yeah.
voice of Bender. Yeah, Joe DiMaggio was a Yankees player. Pretty sure.
Was he?
He's the one that Billy Joel. Joe DiMaggio, Studebaker television.
Did Joe DiMaggio
McCarthy,
date Marilyn
Richard
Monroe?
Nixon,
He
North
married
Korea,
Marilyn
South
Monroe
Korea,
and then
Marilyn
divorced her
Monroe.
because of the photo.
Yeah, Joe DiMaggio was married to Marilyn Monroe.
Well, probably because she was an actual demon.
Wait, do you mean literally?
Yeah, no, like literally. She knew government secrets. She was infiltrating.
Doesn't that make her an angel?
No, it depends because it was during the Kennedy era.
Oh, I see. So you're saying she got Kennedy killed. Well, she did sleep with him.
She did a lot of
Allegedly.
stuff.
Yeah.
No, she was a literal demon because Kennedy wanted to do nothing but good things. I know that's false, but he wanted to disband the CIA. This took a turn. Let's go to something else.
No, let's keep going.
All right.
Yeah.
So the CIA.
JFK died because he was the first president in over 50 years that wanted to audit the Federal Reserve.
Yeah.
He actually was on the Federal Reserve's back since its inception. Since it was created by the devil himself, Woodrow Wilson.
The actual devil.
Yeah. Then JFK was the first guy to have. Say what? Anyway, but like I said, but yeah, Barbie Fairytopia is pretty good.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Golly. So we talked about only 2 movies that fit in our category, and that was Master of Disguise and Kangaroo Jack.
So I mentioned at first that the Austin Powers movie,
Oh.
when I originally watched them, they were the funniest thing ever.
I've never seen a single one.
You haven't?
Uh-oh.
They're funny, but bless them.
See,
They're a little too much. Just like, what's it called? History of the World.
Don't you dare. I knew you were going to go to Mel Brooks. Don't you dare.
History of
Look,
the World
Okay.
isn't good.
Hey, okay, come on now.
It's there's a few parts of it that are great.
Can I actually tell you something?
Sure.
This is really personal. I've never seen History of the World Part 1.
Oh man.
Because, listen, and I was going to bring this up too. As a kid, I had an affinity for, not affinity is not the right word. I wasn't good at it. I had a deep love for spoof movies.
Yeah.
But I think we've talked about this on the podcast before, maybe with Joe. I talked about there's 2 kinds of spoof movies.
Good and bad.
Good and bad. But it's also basically comes down to timeless and topical.
Oh.
Topical ones are bad. And so
Yeah.
the bad ones are the ones that are just like referencing things. Like, oh, look, we're spoofing this. Oh, we're referencing this. Oh, isn't that funny? That's all the scary movies.
Oh
Scary
my
movie,
gosh.
disaster movie.
All of those are trash.
All of those are absolute trash.
Garbage.
What's that?
Yeah.
Shut your
Bad
That was
movies.
annoying the second it came on screen.
The great spoof movies are the ones that you can still watch today because they're just funny.
Spaceballs.
Spaceballs. So the good Mel Brooks, Spaceballs, Robin Hood, Men in
Robin
Tights,
Hood.
Young Frankenstein,
Was
and
Blazing
then
Saddles a spoof of anything?
Blazing Saddles, and then so Mel Brooks had those, and then there were the other. I think even better than Mel Brooks were the Zucker brothers who made Airplane.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Naked Gun and all those,
Those-
right? The Leslie Nielsen ones.
That's a very specific humor that
Yes.
no one can do.
No, you can't do them anymore because you don't have the Zucker brothers. You don't have Leslie Nielsen. That's what you need. You need that formula. But so there's the good ones and the bad ones. But so as a kid, I loved spoof movies. That's like all we watched.
Yeah.
Even like Airplane 2 with William Shatner was hilarious. I loved that movie. And then like movies that weren't quite spoof but were almost there, like Clue. Clue is my
Right.
favorite comedy ever.
Oh, Clue is phenomenal.
And it's not a spoof movie, but it's close.
It's
It's
there.
right on the line. But History of the World is the one Mel Brooks movie I've never seen.
So it's the one Mel Brooks movie that I think is garbage.
I need to call Bradley Corbett because he loved that movie when we were growing up.
See, maybe he needs to rewatch it.
Aren't they actually making a part 2? Because the joke forever was that the part 1 is just part.
They
called
did
part
make a
1.
part 2,
Oh,
and
they
it
did?
is equally as over. Like it's equally
Like recently
as,
they made one?
Yes,
Oh.
they just finished the first season or the second season or
Oh.
something. All episodes now streaming.
It's a show.
Yeah, so I didn't think that either.
Another category of spoof movies. Sorry, I'll let you finish. Go ahead
No,
and
you're
finish.
good.
Go ahead and finish.
No, I'm just saying the first
It's
one.
not good.
There's a lot to it that's really good. Like he's a stand-up philosopher, And that whole the very beginning of the movie and like kind of him in Rome as a stand-up philosopher, it's funny. But it just quickly is not. I don't know. Especially the French Revolution, like the first French Revolution. It's good to be the king. Just that, and he acknowledges how bad it was.
Interesting. I
But,
don't know. I've never. So again,
Even me, who was like, as long as it's comedy and we can all laugh at it, anything goes. I watched that. I'm like, all right, we found the line with this one.
man, I love comedy.
Yes.
And it's so fun to like explore all the different subsets of what comedy is. Because I don't know. It's just like sometimes I'll watch movies with people and they're like, oh, I'm not into comedy. And I'm thinking, okay, that's because in your brain, when you hear comedy, you're thinking of Step Brothers.
Right.
You're thinking of like...
Which is still a good movie.
Which is a good movie, but it's bad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like a good bad.
Talladega Nights.
Movie. Yes, you're thinking of Will Ferrell movies, like because that's what you grew up in the 2000s, and so when you think of comedy, you think of the dumb
That's what all
middle
your
school
friends
boys
watched. Yeah.
comedies. And I'm like,
Real quick, Anchorman is the funniest.
Anchorman of all those type of movies, Anchorman is the best one.
The absolute best. Yeah,
Easily. I think of scenes from Anchorman still laugh sometimes, but then it's just the history of comedy is fun to me. You know, you and me both loved comedians in cars getting coffee.
Yeah,
because it takes you in behind the curtain. You get to talk like you're talking about comedy. You're watching comedians talk about comedy, and it's so fun. And then just like
and how they're just regular people.
Yeah, and he has an episode where he's talking with Mel Brooks and Carl Reiner. Do you remember that one?
Maybe it's
because
been a while
he has
since I
to
watch those.
It's the one where he actually has to go visit them in their nursing home because they're ancient.
They are. They're both so old.
But they're still best friends. And he goes and talks to them and they talk about Spaceballs.
They're in a nursing home? Don't they have enough
money
it
was
to
like, I don't know. It was like, I think it was just their house, but it felt like a nursing home.
Build a nursing home?
He's like eating off a tray in front of the TV. And he's still hilarious. But all that to say,
that's just the default old man situation.
All that to say, there's a specific subset of comedy, which is spoof comedy, and in spoof comedy, there's specific subsets, which we talked about two of them, like the Zucker Brothers type. Then there's the Mel Brooks type, and then there's the bad ones, right?
Monty Python.
No, I was about to say there's another type we didn't mention, and that's very specific, and that's Monty Python.
Monty Python.
Nobody else has ever done what they did like in such a specific way.
They have the ability to go over the top. They have the ability to find the line and just sprint across it.
Yes.
And it's still funny.
Yeah.
No one has been able to do that before and then now after.
It was a combination of things though. It's like the time that they were successful, like just the time period.
The
like
70s?
The 70s. Yeah. That was part of it, and then the fact that they were British. I think those are two things
accents,
together. Yeah, got them
because like the meaning of life.
Oh, dude, that movie. I still probably every other week the song pops into my head. That every spur is sacred. that pops into my head.
I can go to the store right now and buy a French ticklet. She's like, anyway. Why don't you? Because that would be a sin.
Yeah, it's nobody's really done what they do. And then there's another subset of spoof movies, which is
British sitcoms.
Well, okay. Speaking of British sitcoms,
Fawlty Tower.
Why are you one step ahead of me this whole episode? Fawlty Towers is, I think, so when we're talking about comedy, TV specifically, scripted TV. So not like if I was just going to say the funniest show of all time, it'd be like Whose Line Is It Anyway? But that doesn't count because it's improv. But if we're talking like a scripted show, there's two shows that I think of as being the funniest of all time. The British one is Fawlty Towers.
Sure.
The American one is Arrested Development.
You think Arrested Development is the best?
In terms of writing, I think those are the funniest written shows I've ever seen.
Ironically, those are the both most chaotic shows.
Yo, they are. They're so quick. But maybe that just says something about my taste.
You know, another show I think you would really like. It's a little slow to start, but once you get into it, it's kind of like The Office in a way, where it's like the first couple episodes are a little. You're like, yeah. Is IT Crowd, the It Crowd?
I've heard good things.
It was made much later than I thought it was. It seems like it was made in 2001, but it was actually like 2012.
Yeah,
but it feels like 2001.
Yeah,
but it's a British comedy, and it's It's hilarious.
I need to check it out. I've heard good things.
They recently took it off Netflix.
But speaking of The Office, that brings me to another subset of, you could kind of call it spoof, which is, I think, my favorite genre of comedy
I know
movies.
Can I say it before you
Go
say
ahead,
it?
say it, since you've done it the whole time.
Mockumentaries.
Mockumentaries, baby. Specifically the Christopher Guest movies.
Oh,
like
my
Waiting for
gosh.
Guffman, Best in Show, Spinal Tap.
Spinal Tap.
So good.
Wait, I've only seen Waiting for Guffman and Spinal Tap.
So Spinal Tap was the first one, but it was and Christopher Guest was in it.
Wasn't Fred Armisen involved in a lot of that?
I think he was too young. I don't know.
Those were older, weren't they?
Spinal Tap was, Spinal Tap was 80s.
Wow.
Fred Armisen, when was he born? Let's see. Fred Armisen.
Fred Armisen is someone I consider really heavily involved in that mockumentary stuff.
Well, I think part of that is because he did Documentary Now.
That's what it is.
And so he's involved in all that stuff.
What's his show? Portlandia?
Portlandia, yeah. Never got into that.
It's kind of like Family Guy, where there's like a whole lot of trash and then some
nuggets
gold.
of gold. Yeah. But Spinal Tap was the first mockumentary of those movies. Christopher Guest was in it, but he did not direct it. It was directed by Rob Reiner, who made The Princess Bride and When Harry Met Sally and Misery and all these great movies. One of my favorite directors. Carl Reiner's son. So almost a nephew to Mel Brooks, except not blood related. Just it'd be like if you were Mel Brooks,
sure,
my son directed Spinal Tap. Yeah. Anyway, but then after that, Rob Reiner went on to do other things. He was like, I'm going to make other kinds of movies. Mm-hmm. And Christopher Guest was like, no, that I found what I want to do. Because he was in that. He was like, I'm just going to make more of these. So he made Waiting for Guffman, Best in Show, and Mighty Wind.
I remember watching Waiting for Guffman in high school. My drama teacher.
That's a very drama teacher movie to make someone watch.
God bless her.
Love that movie.
I didn't appreciate it in its time, and I want to watch it again. But I remember, I can kind of remember thinking back on it. I'm like, that actually was hilarious. Mm-hmm. When at the time, I'm like, what are we watching?
Yeah.
Why are we watching?
Well, that's the thing. It's like if your teacher shows you anything, it automatically makes it less cool.
But she didn't tell me it was a mockumentary.
Oh, I get you.
She told me it was a documentary. She just told me, she's like, this is an educational, like, we're watching this for the purpose of like film history. And I was like, okay. And it was a documentary. It started up like a documentary, and I'm like, okay, what are we about to learn? And the whole time I'm like, what's happening?
Yeah, that's great. That's honestly a great bit by your teacher.
It was. Awesome. And I think she did it on purpose. Yeah. But then I was only 17. I'm like, I don't get it. And she was like, you don't get it? I'm like, no, you're 35 and you have an alcohol problem. You get a lot of stuff.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's funny.
I said her name. You might bleep out her name.
Okay, I'll go back and...
Not a lot of people know that.
Well, anyway...
It's obvious. But not a lot of people acknowledge it.
But of those movies... it was so funny because Christopher Guest found the best people in Hollywood to do that very specific thing, and he just like kept them,
pumping them out.
But he was just like the cast is the same in every movie, pretty much, because there's not many people who can do that.
Wes Anderson,
improv at that level. Well, yeah. Well, there's people like they find people they're good with to work with, but those movies, Spinal Tap, Waiting for Guffman, and all those, they're not scripted. It's just improv.
The whole time?
The whole thing is improv.
I did not know that.
You didn't know that? Yeah.
No.
It's all improv. And he like they come up with the general story of what they want to happen.
Sure.
But there's no dialogue.
Isn't that kind of how they do Always Sunny?
Mm-hmm. A little bit. They script it more, but yeah, they literally
crazy.
No script, all improv, and they just stay in character. And they spend like 2 weeks rehearsing, but their rehearsals are just them learning every detail of their character's history. And then they get in character and they just film it. And so like there's not many people that can do that. And that's what makes those all so good and so awkward.
Just the very like historical moments, like turning it up to 11.
Yes. No, because these go to 11.
These go to 11.
In the awkward silence after. It's so good.
Just, what? And then Gibson came out with a whole series of amps that went up to 11.
Did they really?
Yeah, because of that movie.
I love that movie. And then, but the same cast comes back for A Mighty Wind, and the band. So,
okay.
A Mighty Wind is a fake documentary about a washed-up folk band, And so it's the same guys that were in the Rock in Spinal Tap, but now they're playing washed up folk musicians with mandolins and they're all balding, and it's really funny. But it's the same three dudes. And then did you know they toured? Because they all were real musicians, and they actually were playing that music in those movies.
Really?
But they just made it up, yeah.
And then they went on tour.
They went on tour in character, and they didn't break character the whole time. They would Christopher Guest would go on David Letterman or The Tonight Show to promote their concerts and the movies, and he would stay in character the whole time.
That's a special kind of
Yes.
What's the term I'm thinking of?
Neurotic or too dedicated. I know the word you're thinking of. I just can't say it. No, literally though, it's so good. Which, never mind. That's another rabbit hole. I was going to bring up Nathan Fielder.
Yeah,
he's
that's
been in
your
character
favorite stuff lately, or not lately, but
he's been in character his whole life. We already have an episode on Nathan Fielder though.
Oh, really?
Me and Zachariah.
Oh, that's why I don't remember it.
Yeah.
Good old Zachariah. How's he doing?
Great. He's got 3 kids now.
3 kids, pumping them out.
Yeah.
You thinking about getting the snip there, old Zach? 3 is gonna.
Hey, you keep it up, buddy.
No, yeah. You know what? Pump them out. Keep the
bunch of little Zachs running around.
Bunch of Zags. We need more of those.
Have you burped in this episode?
I don't. No.
His wife listens to this, and she hates when we burp.
Why? It's a natural function.
It's also gross.
I mean, arguably.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you, 12?
It's only arguable if you argue with me.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, we should wrap it up so I don't forget where you said her name so I can go bleep it out.
Sure.